Hello everybody and welcome to another one of our leadership training videos. Now by now I hope that you will realize that in these leadership training videos I share with you through my own personal experience the traits, the skills, the knowledge, the insights that helped you to become better leaders, to improve your leadership skills, to have greater insight and knowledge as to how leaders that you maybe look up to have got to where they are, and of course how you then can improve your own leadership skills and abilities. My name is Igwe. I have over 35 years experience leading, training and developing teams across 5 major markets where I've lived and grown up, and across Europe, Middle East and Africa. So I think in terms of the topic we're going to talk about now, which is around travel, I'm pretty qualified to be able to share that with you and why it's important. You see, apart from being born and raised in Nigeria, the countries that I've lived in and worked in are Scotland, England, France twice now, Switzerland twice, and the Netherlands. And in those 5 markets where I've worked, I've come across the most amazing experiences that have helped me to grow and become who I am today. So I think I'm pretty well placed and pretty well qualified to be able to share that with you, as I've done in these other videos. You see, one of the things before I get into it is I was on a leadership webinar, if you like, or interview between an American group and myself, and they wanted to know what the abilities were at the end of the interview that one needed to have, and what skills one needed to have to become a better leader. And what I said to them is, bearing in mind that I've worked for American companies for many, many years, and I have also, of course, lived in France. And what's interesting about at least 20 years ago in France, and still very much the case in the US and North America, is that not necessarily that many people, percentage-wise, have passports. So when you look at it in terms of travel, yes, more and more are getting passports. The world is much more open than it used to be. But I would encourage you, and my specific aspect is around the fact that as you grow in leadership, so you grow in a company, and maybe you're already in a leadership position, the importance and the value of being able to travel should never be underestimated. So I said to the 2 interviewers who were asking me that question, is I would say travel has got to be right up there as one of the most important aspects to help you grow, and to grow fast in leadership. It actually accelerates, trust me, it accelerates your leadership. So as we look into this, I want to explore, like I said, how travel expands leadership. So it could be short visits. It could be you go to a country or a market to meet your team, meet a potential new client, but you actually go to the country, wherever it happens to be. It could be, however, that you accept to do short assignments. Those assignments could be anything from a couple of weeks to a few months, maybe up to 12 months. You take an assignment to bring your knowledge, insight and skill to a particular group that you want to support. And maybe it's part of your team anyway. Maybe it's part of your company. And then of course the ultimate, which is less of a big thing as it was back in my days, for various different reasons, cost being one of them, is you become an expatriate. So you actually go and live in that country for a few years. Could be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. I know many expatriates that went out as expatriates and actually never came back. So the company maintained them in those markets, but maybe not necessarily, or definitely not necessarily, on an expatriate status, because like I say, there are considerable costs attached to it. But these are the mechanisms that you can consider. And so what are the benefits? Because I said you can accelerate your leadership through travel. Well, there are many benefits, but here are a few. One is it creates proximity to the people that you're wanting to get closer to. the people that you want to understand, the people you want to share with, whatever the plan, the vision, etc. is. You have great discoveries. You actually discover things about the individuals that you're meeting, about how they do business over there. What's as simple as their working hours. When you try and reach them and they're not available, especially in today's world and in certain countries, at least you know why. So you have discoveries. Communication is improved. It's a much better flow of communication between you and the other party, the other person, the other individuals. You understand more about their culture, why they do things the way they do, why they behave in the way they do. Maybe it's a simple meal. You go out and have a meal with them and they explain to you why they have the fork or the knife this way or that way. How when they finished eating, in some cultures, the knife and the fork are in a kind of V shape, if you like. And there are those who put it at the top. There are lots of different things that can be, on the one hand, fascinating and interesting. So culture, but also language. Maybe, especially if you have a longer term assignment, you decide to learn the language. There is nothing more wonderful for those people you are visiting than to have you say the odd word. Try and make a sentence, try and explain something, because they will then, it'll be more engaging for them as well as they try and adjust and help you to understand, because at the end of the day, it can and does create friendships and, most importantly, perhaps memories. So here are some of the benefits, which are as much professional as they are human. They are as much professional as they are human. And so those things are really important. But as much as anything else, it's creating an awareness around the needs and the expectations of not only the other party, but also for you. So it's a two-way street. What are their needs and what are yours? What are their expectations and what are yours? It's about improving the speed and efficiency of responses when a particular task is being asked for, because you've got to know each other a bit better. You've got to know them. The respect has grown and there's a mutual respect. So maybe when you were being very difficult, demanding about deadlines and dates and everything else, you've explained to them through this proximity why that was important, and they get it, and then you get them on board and they're more engaged. So you get their commitment and you get their engagement. So these are all aspects where, when you look at travel, you can't look at travel and say it's an inconvenience. Now, inevitably, it could be you have a family already, so it's not as easy to do that. But trust me, I have moved single, I have moved married with no kids, I have moved married with young kids, I have moved married with older kids. So I know all these experiences. And because, like I say, I've lived in France and Switzerland, both French-speaking Switzerland and then German-speaking Switzerland, and also in the Netherlands, which is Dutch-speaking. So I've been through that whole process. Is it easy? No. No, and nothing should be easy. Because if it's easy, you don't learn as much. If it's easy, you don't get the experience that you need to improve on each of the layers as you grow. So travel is so important. And I'm going to end with just a quick story, because you may say, well, I don't have the opportunity, it will never come. I'm going to give you two examples very quickly. One is in my own career, my own life. I had finished working on a major international project back when I was in the construction industry. I went to my boss, who happened to be the managing director of a major company, and I said to him, I've finished this, it's been a great experience, wonderful. I'm coming to the end in a few months' time. What do you see me doing next? And I just thought to myself, and I said to him, do you have any opportunities overseas coming up? Now, that particular company had been looking overseas as a construction company, but nothing had been cast in stone. Now, I don't know what it was or how it came about, but I said, look, if there's an expatriate international process opportunity, I would like to go for it. As it turned out, a few months later, before the end of the project, he called me and said, you know, we had that conversation about you going abroad. Well, there's an opportunity. It's a joint venture, so we're going to be working with a Swedish and a French company, and we, a British company, we're going to put you forward as a potential candidate to be construction manager on that project. As it turned out, long story short, I got interviewed, I got the position with the joint venture partnership, and I moved from England to France, which was my first time abroad. You have to create the opportunity, and when it comes up, you seize it. The second is not me, but somebody else. In the business that I was in, the company I was in, he wasn't my direct report, my direct line, or anything like that, but he was someone who looked up to me, I guess, trusted my insights and thoughts. And he was in his early 20s, maybe 22, 23. And in London we met. There was an opportunity for him that the company had just highlighted, saying he should consider going to China. He wasn't sure, he had a girlfriend. He wasn't sure she would want to travel. As it turned out, again, long story short, I said to him, first of all, don't hesitate. I said, don't even think about it, just do it. These opportunities are rare, and when they come up, you have to seize them and take them, or somebody else will have them. It wasn't quite as simple for him, but in the end he did do it. He didn't go there with his girlfriend, or maybe they broke up anyway, so clearly there was a problem that created. But since then, and we're still in touch, he's found the love of his life, and he's very happy in doing what he's doing, and he learned so much from that experience in China and in other parts of Asia where he moved on to. So if there's an opportunity to travel, seize it. If it's a short term, seize it. If it's an assignment of a certain period of time, go for it. And if it's an expatriate and they still have it, or even if it isn't, it doesn't matter. Because the life experience and the learning experience will far outweigh the financial compensation, which will never be bad anyway, because most decent companies will always look after you in many different ways. So I want to encourage you, consider how to travel, where to travel. It may mean changing jobs, it may mean a new role, a new function, but keep your antenna up, keep your ideas and your thoughts up, and something will happen. So I just want to invite you to think about the different aspects of this video. If there are ways in which it has helped to create new insights, new knowledge, then I've achieved my purpose. But I'd like you to like, comment, or share this video, subscribe to the channel so you know when other videos become available. And until the next time, thank you.